All right, everybody. Mandalorian Chapter 3, Episode 7, The Spies. All right, so I did enjoy this episode. A lot of stuff was moving and happening finally on the villain side. The villain. Okay, spoilers. Moff Gideon's back. All right, everybody. Giancarlo Esposito is back. Good to see him. Good to feel his presence of just the straight-on evil. But the Shadow Council, big deal. Seeing a lot of different personalities within the remnants of the Empire and how their orchestrations are going and that they're not unified, which is going to help them stay still under the radar of the New Republic, okay? Smart makes sense. We get clones or cloning mention, Operation Necromancer. Like, okay, we're bringing back somebody from the dead, all right? It's Palpatine. This is the somehow, okay? This story is explaining the somehow out of somehow Palpatine has returned, okay? That's what the Filoni verse is doing. It's describing that somehow. But I did really like skipping ahead at the end when Moff Gideon shows up using Beskar armor, right? So we were thinking that it was going to be Mandalorians that were working with Moff Gideon, which I'm like, come on, that's not going to make sense. They hate the Empire. Boom. What makes more sense? He is harvesting Beskar from the planet itself in order to create the next suit of Dark Troopers. Oh, right. Utilizing, capturing, taking the best ideas from the different conquered planets and pieces of the Empire. And as Moff Gideon had said, the Jedi, the cloners, he goes, the cloners, the Jedi. And you shoot to Grogu. Grogu is seen like, getting that mad face. And then mentioning the Mandalorians. Each of these people have something to contribute to the Empire. And that is tactically the right move to make, right? Utilize the technology and the ways of the people that kicked your butt. And so we saw the next version of the Dark Troopers. People in suits, but they're Beskar suits, and they can use a rocket launcher. Okay, but if the Beskar can have blaster bolts, be deflected, why was it that the Gatling gun was ripping through them? Maybe it was just a more powerful bolt that was hitting them. Either way, I was kind of like, wait a second, people are still falling. Are they hits that are hitting their necks or their knees or something like that? I'm like, no, it looks like it's glancing off the armor. But either way, okay, people were falling left and right here. Our big dude falls. He had a nice fight to the death at the end, but I'm like, yo, you could have ducked under the door and pressed the button, have the door shut, and escape with everybody else, especially for the sake of your son. I would have kind of much preferred he made the attempt to go, and then we as an audience were like, oh, there's way too many of them. I thought maybe he was going to rocket across the ravine and blow himself up along with some sort of bombs or other things that he picked up along the way, like he would grab as much as he could of explosions and go into the hangar and blow up half the hangars and take out half of them. Or he could go drop it all, come back, fire a rocket, blow it up, but knowing that he couldn't escape. Just something that I think instead of going up against a bunch of baddies, his sacrifice was more than just the escape. His sacrifice is he took down half the facility. So it gave this new toehold of the Mandalorians a fighting chance. I would have much rather have seen something just a little bit bigger, but that's just a personal nitpick with me, Another thing that was just odd about this episode was the editing. Some of the shots were too fast. Let the shots linger. There was some beautiful shots, I'm sure they were using the volume, of when the Mandalorians are stepping foot on the planet of Mandalore. And it almost looks like this very dark, dirty hint of green sea of glass almost of the places in the rocks just because of all the bombing. And there was a couple shots with the sky in the background that looked absolutely gorgeous. And I wanted the shot just to stay there and have the dialogue continue. Bo-Katan is walking around and stuff, but it would cut too fast, too often. So biggest note for everybody that was a part of this episode, the editor, please pump the brakes, man. Let these shots just linger for a little while longer. It was directed by Rick Famuyiwa, which was good with the action. Really enjoyed that mad dash at the end with Mando leading the charge in the Beskar armor, and some good fight scenes with having the villains leveled up that are now toe-to-toe with the Mandalorians. So Mr. Famuyiwa Really, really enjoyed some of the takes when it came to the direction and other elements in the show. Just some of those shots should have lingered. And funny enough, this episode reminded me of John Wick, because with the Beskar armor, I thought, oh, the suits that have Kevlar that can deflect bullets and stuff. I'm like, this makes the fight more captivating now, instead of just a turkey shoot taking down these, stormtroopers that are rocket packed. I'm like, they shouldn't be able to make enough Beskar or try to synthetically make the Beskar in order to have these troopers be more intimidating, because they were way more intimidating having that type of technology. Okay, Grogu, we got to talk about you in this suit, my man. So it was real funny when you said, I think it was yes, 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 and then it cut, but then it kept having him say yes, 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 but his hand wasn't touching the button when it was going. So was it like a malfunction or something? That joke was great. The cut was great, but then the joke kept going on and on and on and on when he was walking, and I'm like, cut that out. Just have him trying to get the controls right, Maybe have him wobble for a second or two and then look, and then he's okay. If you needed another laugh there. I just thought that joke was great when it cut, but then it went on too long of him just pounding that button, yes, even though his hand wasn't moving there. So it's these small little details, man, that make all the difference. They really make all the difference from a good episode to a great episode. And it was a good episode. I like that we got to see more of the villains, man. I wish we had that council meeting a bit earlier in the series, like in episode 4 or episode 3, just to sow the seeds of like, this is going on out in the galaxy. The seeds have been sown from the good guys' perspective, but we've just seen spies. But with the name of spies, I was thinking like these other Mandalorians that showed up. I'm like, are they going to be the spies? Are there spies somewhere else within this Mandalorian conclave? But no, it was, they found the facility. They found the facility on the planet itself. And Moff Gideon had his TIE interceptors and his bombers, and he was harvesting the Beskar. So maybe, it felt like, what further resources did he need that he asked the Shadow Council? Did he get those resources? Were these the last of his resources that he put on the planet? Either way, that, tied in more of like, okay, the reason why they don't want anybody coming back to Mandalore is because the remnants of the Empire, Moff Gideon's forces, are taking those resources. Ooh, that's a bit more captivating understanding of why that myth is perpetuated, instead of more and more commerce and other people checking out for themselves, as the High Magistrate, Grief Karga, said, I got this from a trader when somebody that was exploring the galaxy, but that burned piece of glass, but with the inscription or something on it, but he showed it to Din Djarin. Din's like, okay, I'm going to go check out the planet. Which, by the way, our man Din is captured. I really thought Moff Gideon was going to take off his helmet. I would have liked that beat, because he could have embarrassed him more and done maybe more damage to the Mandalorians of like, here's one of the champions, and now his helmet gets popped off, and that could sow more seeds of doubt within the Mandalorians. But spoilers, no helmet is taken off, and I'm kind of like, is Pedro Pascal going to show up this season? Physically? Because it'd be kind of odd if he didn't, because he has in the last 2. So in this third one, maybe Moff Gideon takes off his helmet, and it's more of a personal vendetta between the two. And then the armor. Oh, well, no, the armor is back with the fleet. Never mind. I keep thinking that maybe the armor is going to have her helmet removed, and it'll be revealed that it was one of the characters, I forget her name, that allied with Darth Maul in the cartoons in the previous story before the live action. And if that's gonna hold sway, or maybe not, maybe it's just another character. Anyways, I just think there's something with the helmet removal that has to happen within the tribe, because I really don't see these other folks that are not used to wearing the helmets all the time going back to that, even though Bo-Katan had for a while. So we'll see. That's kind of the biggest thing that I'm asking when I'm watching these characters interact, is like, is Din Djarin going to take off his helmet? Are we going to have that type of doctrinal discussion of the future of the Mandalorians? Anyways, we have one episode to go, man. So we got Din, who's kidnapped. Grogu is in his suit, walking around, able to say yes and no. And I love the little, I forget the name of the creatures, but the little Babu freak is just like, he repeated the same joke as last time, bad baby no squeezy, which is my favorite quote from the show, but I kind of wish there was maybe something else where he's like, okay, one squeezy, he'll give him one hug, or Grogu gives him like a little bow or something, like just a sign of respect, because they did it for the kid to have him fit in there type vibe. I thought it was great that Carl Weathers was like, no, let's see if he fits. Let's see if he fits, man. So again, the show has great moments, but it has other moments that are just not up to the standard of super high quality, and I want this show to have it. So many people are putting everything that they have into the show itself, from the stunt work to a lot of the designs, and that intro with the huge ships overhead on Navarro and the bass that was just thundering in my house when I was watching. I felt like, yeah, there's a great presence there. Even though it's CGI, the mix of the sound and the shots create something that's substantial, and that's just not happening in every scene. It's not happening in every shot, and I thought the editing was just too fast a lot of times during this episode. Okay, those are my thoughts. Overall, am I glad I watched this series? Yes, absolutely. I mean, Season 2, the finale, is one of my favorite moments of watching a television show. But it feels this is a building year. In a sports phrase, this is a building year for the franchise. But it's a building year for, it feels like, for this series. And now it's going to branch off into, we have Ahsoka and Thrawn, who was mentioned. And then I believe that character that was he plays a second in command from the Legends, from the books. And so they're bringing in characters and parts and pieces of Heir to the Empire, and I think that's the main focus. And we heard Dave Filoni at the Star Wars Celebration mention that in some interviews of like really discussing more and more from Heir to the Empire. And that was such a very popular book. It's a trilogy of books that details what happened after Return of the Jedi, which I thought was the richest place in order to tell a future Star Wars story. Unfortunately, the main actor is a little bit too old, and they really didn't do a great job bringing him together in the sequel trilogy. But I think that there's a very captivating narrative to have here with Thrawn and Heir to the Empire, and it being more of Ahsoka's story, which would be great, and the Mandalorian story, and them coming together. And there's a lot of great potential there. It just take your time with the scripts, please. Another round of writing. We want this to be amazing, and we know everybody that's a part of this show has the talent and the capability to make it amazing. Just take your time with it. Stop having to bend over backwards for the requirements of Disney Plus. Let's focus on the quality. Okay, cool. Love Star Wars. Love The Mandalorian. Just want it to be the best it can be, and I think we as fans feel that way. And if you do as well, let me know in the comments below. You know what to do. It's YouTube. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the finale next week. We're going to be ready for it. All right, Grogu, let's get out of here. Bye-bye.